specifically focuses on the procedures of the parliament that we can adopt, that as a united opposition we can all fight and get the bill introduced and passed in the parliament in the ensuing session. Having said that, I would like to quote what Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had said. He said, I measure the progress of a community by the degree of progress which women have achieved in that community. Having said that, we can open up the round table, and I would like to invite Ms. Kavitha ji to get onto the stage, and let's open up the floor for discussion. Kavitha ma'am.
Jai Bharat, a very warm welcome and good afternoon to all of you, especially for the students from Zindal and many honorable members of parliament, party leaders, senior leadership is here. I welcome all of you. Senior journalist Mr. Vinit Narayanji is also here. A special welcome to you, sir. Today, the agenda of this roundtable conference is to discuss on the methods in which the political parties can bring about pressure on the ruling party to table the bill in the parliament. There are two kinds of fights when we have to achieve the women reservation bill. One is, of course, with the help of the people, the fight that is to be taken up on the streets outside the parliament, and the other, of course, is the one inside the parliament. There are many methods inside the parliament with which political parties can bring pressure on the ruling government. For example, if any party wants to bring in a private member's bill on the women's reservation bill, that will be a very good pressure point for the government. We can start by asking more questions on the women reservation bill itself. We can mention it in the 0R. Like that, there are so many tools in special mentions. We can give adjournment motions so that the government can introduce women's reservation bill. And why do I speak about building pressure inside the parliament? The one and only reason is this is a government with full mandate, and if we bring about reasonable pressure on the government and the bill is introduced, then this is a very achievable target. So with this particular point of interest, today we have invited member of parliaments from various political parties. First of all, I would like to thank the entire parliament members who are sitting here from BRS party, and I'll invite Ms. Maloth Kavitha Garu to come and join us here on the stage. Then Mr. Santosh Kumar, MP from CPI. Before Mr. Santosh Kumar, I would like to invite Mr. Narayan Garu, who is the CPI party National General Secretary, and Mr. Binoy Vishwam Garu, MP from CPI. Please join us on the stage, sir. Ms. Tamilachi from Chennai, South, ma'am, MP? Chennai, please come. Welcome on the stage. And I would like to invite Ms. Pratibha Singh, who is the RLD National Women Wing President of RLD. Mr. Vinit Narayan Garu, please, you don't want to say a few words? Okay. Can you get the name of, from Beam Army, please? Mr. Gurnam Singh Garu is from the Kisan Manch. I would like to welcome you on the stage, sir, so that you can please come up. पार्लियामेंट के बाहर लड़ना है तो किसानों से सीखे, इसीलिए हमने कहा गुरनाम सिंह जी को बुलाते हैं सपोर्ट में. विष्णु. Mr. Harjit Patti from Beam Army, that is the Azad Party. Please come on the stage. Rekha Bora ji, please come on the stage. I would like to ask Mr. Narayan Garu to make some opening statements, and then we'll pass it on to the MPs, sir.
First of all, I must congratulate Kavitha, who is initiating to fight for women's reservation bill. This bill, when Vajpayee was the Prime Minister, he appointed a parliamentary committee under the leadership of Geeta Mukherjee, veteran CPI parliamentarian. She toured all over India and prepared a very good report, submitted to Parliament. Meanwhile, Devagowda government came up. Some of the important political leaders, I don't want to say name here, they objected. If the bill is passed, throughout India, you can say for the eligibility of the Prime Ministers, 4 or 5 members will be there. If the reservation occupied all women, so you can't find Prime Minister candidate. So without Prime Minister candidate, how the country goes? It's a peculiar argument. So women cannot lead this country. Whatever చెప్పారట నేనే పుట్టకపోతే నేను ఎవరు పని చేసుకుంటానంటే వాడు అన్నాడంట నీ అమ్మని చేసుకుంటానని చెప్పాడట అట్లా ఆల్రెడీ పుట్టున్నారు ఆల్రెడీ born here. Anybody can take power. But anti-woman philosophy, that's why they rejected. The present Prime Minister, before coming to the power, he promised that when I am coming to the power, implementing the women reservation bill. He promised. Now he got the commendable majority without depending on others. Manmohan Singh government and Devagowda government, Gujral government, they don't have an absolute majority. If somebody opposed, they cannot introduce the bill. But the BJP government, they got absolute majority. They can pass the bill. But why is not passing the bill? Why is not introducing? Though his promise, that promise made by not Kavitha, that promise made by Prime Minister of India, Modi, now he is avoiding. That is why this is the just and genuine demand and the very, very good report before the Parliament, and they can accept. All will support. Though communists, we are opposing BJP. TRS also opposing BJP. But let him initiate Prime Minister Modi to introduce the bill in Parliament. Definitely our party will support this bill. Though we are opposing the political party, but this bill we will support. The way I am not coming forward, that's why this is Kavitha and myself and all are from Telangana movement, we are here. Subject State of Telangana, the CPI, the first party, national parties, officially resolved that supporting Telangana. From that onwards, we are fighting. Both the streets, outside, everywhere, we fought like anything. That's why she got fighting capacity and experience with the people's movement. Now she take up that issue. This issue is not the Kavitha, this issue belongs to the entire woman flock and also all democratic forces. That's why we want to support here and inside the parliament and outside the parliament. Like, you can announce. You can announce.
Welcome to the conference, Priyanka ma'am. Please, can you get onto the stage?
So I promise, Kavitha ji, already we got experience fighting the streets. Now we are ready to fight in the streets and also in the parliament. Our MP is also here. So I promise that this bill should be sanctioned. And what kind of agitation means, we have our own steps of agitation outside and inside. That's why this roundtable meeting is not confined only limited part those who attended. Those who are not attended also, there's also responsibility that they have committed for the women's reservation bill. We are wholeheartedly supporting, and in future, inside the parliament and outside the parliament, you will definitely take up the issue and fight for. Wish you all the best.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच। आप सभी को नमस्कार। आज इकट्ठे हुए हैं हम विमेन रिजर्वेशन बिल पर बातचीत करने के लिए। तो यहाँ आए हुए सभी स्टूडेंट्स को, सभी एमपीस महोदय, मुख्य अतिथि, सबको हाथ जोड़कर नमस्कार और आप सबका यहाँ पे हम सादर अभिनंदन करते हैं। इसी कड़ी में आगे मैं इनवाइट करना चाहूँगी सरदार गुरनाम सिंह चढ़ूनी जी, जो बीआरएस के किसान सेल के राष्ट्रीय नेता हैं और बीकेयू चढ़ूनी के नेशनल प्रेसिडेंट हैं। सर, मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूँगी कि इस महिला बिल के बारे में आपके क्या विचार हैं?
देखिए, सबसे पहले तो मैं धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा हमारी बेटी कविता जी का, जिन्होंने बहुत अच्छा ये मुद्दा देश के सामने उठाया है। और सभी का जो सभी मौजूद हमारे भाई, हमारी बहनें मंच पे बैठे हैं, सामने बैठे सभी हमारे भाई, बच्चे, हमारे पत्रकार भाई, देखिए हर क्षेत्र में महिलाओं ने कीर्तिमान स्थापित किए। चाहे पढ़ाई में देख लें, चाहे खेल में देख लें, चाहे नौकरी के क्षेत्र में देख लें और चाहे राजनीति के क्षेत्र में देख लें, सभी जगह जो महिलाओं का काम है वो बहुत अच्छा और बहुत टॉप पर रहा है। और ये जो मुद्दा है कि महिला बिलवाड़ा के बराबर हिस्सा होना चाहिए, जब आबादी बराबर है तो हमारा विचार है कि हिस्सा भी बराबर जरूर होना चाहिए देश को चलाने में, देश का नेतृत्व करने में। तो हम इस बात का समर्थन करते हैं और उसके साथ साथ ये भी कहते हैं कि देश की जितनी राजनीतिक पार्टियां, जितने सामाजिक संगठन, जितने हमारे मीडिया वाले भाई, उन सबको भी इसका समर्थन करना चाहिए। सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर। इसी कड़ी में मैं आगे आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगी मिसेस रेखा, जो सोशल एक्टिविस्ट हैं। मैम, आप महिला बिल से संबंधित अपने क्या विचार रखते हैं? महिलाओं को आगे आना चाहिए, नहीं आना चाहिए?
आप सबको मेरी नमस्कार। मैं अमेरिका से आई हुई हूँ। इनको अप्रिशिएट करते हैं कविता मैम को, तो इनके साथ अभी 2-3 दिन पहले वहाँ बैठे थे एक मोर्चा प्रोटेस्ट ऑन द वुमेन्स रिजर्वेशन बिल। I'm delighted to see Priyanka Chaturvedi, whom I admire so greatly, and I always reply to your tweets from New York, let me tell you that. And most of all, who's called me here is to be blamed is Vineet Narayan, my brother. He pushed me onto the stage. I don't know why. But what I want to congratulate all of you about is so nice to see you youngsters from schools, because when we participated in the women's empowerment movement time of the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, we spoke about GEMS, which was Gender Equality Movement in Schools. I hope you people remember that, read about it. And there were so many others. We were CEDAW, we were VAW, Violence Against Women. There was so much that we guys did. And we are so happy that your younger generation is carrying it forward. So our blessings to you people. This must be done. We must get it. It is, something that has been lingering for more than 26 years. So it's about time. Sardarji said very rightly that we are half the population, so we should get our rights. But not because of that. We must get our rights because we deserve our rights. We have worked for it. We work equally so well in every sphere. So the nation won't advance if we don't advance. We get empowered, the nation gets empowered. And, it's women's empowerment is nice because when a woman learns to fight, she can fight any coward. So that's what's important when women get forward. So I'm not going to talk too much because I'm always caught unprepared. I can speak volumes on the women's bill and the women's movement because I've been an activist almost since birth. I got it from my mom. But today there are so many other distinguished people here, and I should not bite into their time. So they must speak. I came to hear more than talk myself. But children, my blessings are for you. Please carry this message forward from your homes, into your schools, into your communities, that women are your equals. All right? Thank you.
थैंक यू वेरी मच मैम. महिलाएं 50% आबादी की हकदार हैं, वो वोट देती हैं, 50% की संख्या में हम मौजूद हैं, तो हमें सत्ता में आने का अधिकार क्यों नहीं है? मैम आपने सही क्वेश्चन रेज किया है. इसी कड़ी में प्रियंका चतुर्वेदी मैम से पूछना चाहूंगी कि मैम आपका इस बिल के लिए और आपकी पार्टी का क्या स्टैंड है?
Before Priyanka you speak, because you missed out of the introduction, I just wanted to request you that this roundtable conference wants to primarily focus on what tools can be utilized inside the House of the Parliament to draw the attention of the government, like adjournment motions, like questions, like tabling private member bills, etc. So if you could also include that in your speech.
So thank you so much for your kind words. Firstly, about me, I had no idea that I had fans in New York and they respond to my tweets, so thank you so much. Thank you, Kavitha ji, for making me a part of this discussion, the roundtable discussion. When you mentioned the discussion and the tools we can use, the most important tool which, you have, Sumati has been a part of, that I started an initiative where young girls like them could apply to a fellowship program where they could intern with women members of parliament. Women, supporting women, helping them with research, and they giving them their experience and exposure and a platform. And from there on, they would intern for 3 months with a policy think tank. So that when they go as, as someone with that fellowship, they are equipped not just to speak up on politics, but also on policy. And they're just not afraid with the kind of trolling that you see online when women are asked to keep quiet, women are told that they cannot speak beyond the point, they don't know much, they don't know enough. We know enough, we will contribute enough, and we will contribute as much as we want. And why should we stop at 50%? We can claim for 60% too, because it has been denied to us. One more thing I'd like to bring to everyone's attention, and something that always keeps playing in my mind, and I keep telling at every repeated discussion that we have on this. USA had to fight, the women in USA had to fight for their right to vote. They fought for it for several years. Our Indian constitution makers were so visionary and progressive in their thought that when they drew up the constitution, they decided that right equal on the basis of the gender. So when we had such constitutional makers, what stops us? Why were the barriers created to keep women out of politics? And that is where we need to change the equation. How we change the equation? One tool I've already mentioned that we as women parliamentarians have contributed. Sumati has been kind enough to accommodate some of our interns. At the same... Oh, I'm so sorry. I keep calling her that. Oh, okay. The other part that we do, which I have also spoken about through my private members bill, is not about, I would say particularly about reservation, but about making policy and politics accessible for women. Every point in the parliament, and people keep telling me that women angle every. I said, I am a woman of it all, whether you talk about health, you talk about economics, you talk about foreign policy, you talk about migration, you talk about climate change. Women, intersectionality of all, and I will speak about women and the aspect of women in these spaces. So in all my speeches, I'm very conscious of the fact how when we are discussing whether it's abortion rights, whether it is about termination of pregnancy, I make conscious effort to ensure that all points are heard and all points are recorded in the parliamentary records. So those are things that we can do. Many times we have seen that women in parliament usually shy away from taking up gender causes. I've seen that many times. They say that, our voters are also men. But I'm very certain that men would also accommodate the idea of having more women in policy making spaces, and if they together make that difference, it would be a better world for our young girls to be able to look at politics and policy as a career option, as an option to serve the nation. So those were my thoughts, and thank you so much for calling me once again.
So thank you, Priyanka ma'am. It was nice to hear that you push private members bill. So we hope that you will be pushing to pass the private members bill for women's empowerment as well, and you will support us. Thank you.
इसी कड़ी में नेक्स्ट आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगी मिसेस प्रतिभा, जो आरएलडी की महिला राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष हैं और राजस्थान से एमपी रही हैं। तो मैम, आप अपने विचार रखें और अपनी पार्टी का स्टैंड रखें।
नमस्कार, मैं कविता जी को बहुत बधाई देना चाहूँगी इस चीज़ की। ज्वलंत मुद्दा था और अब शायद 2 ही सेशन होने वाले, बिल रखा जा सकता है, उसके बाद तो इलेक्शन आ जाएंगे। और बड़े सही मौके पे इन्होंने ये प्रयास किया है कि इस महिला आरक्षण बिल के लिए बिल्कुल वक्त पे चोट करने का टाइम है अभी सरकार की। आप याद करिए, किसानों का आंदोलन था और सब लोग कहते थे कि भाई सरकार जो ये है इतनी जिद्दी है, कभी बैकफुट पे नहीं आएगी। और आप लोगों ने देखा, यूपी के चुनाव सामने थे और सरकार को घुटने टेकने पड़े और तीनों बिल वापस लेने पड़े। ये हिंदुस्तान की आधी आबादी की शक्ति है जो पास कराने के पीछे है। और पूरे हिंदुस्तान में आज़ादी की लड़ाई भी बिना महिलाओं की सहभागिता के बिना नहीं लड़ी गई थी। गांधी जी को अंत में हिंदुस्तान की महिलाओं को उस आंदोलन में शामिल करना पड़ा था और तब हम लोगों ने उस आज़ादी की लड़ाई को जीता था। तो ये हमें अंदर पार्लियामेंट में जो भी ऑपोजिशन की ज़्यादातर पार्टियां हैं, और ये एक ऐसा मुद्दा है, यदि बिल प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल भी पार्लियामेंट में इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया तो सरकार की जो किसान आंदोलन के बिल पे स्थिति थी, सांप छछूंदर वाली, न तो निगला जाएगा न उगला जाएगा, वो स्थिति इनकी होने वाली है। इसलिए मजबूती से बाहर और एक इसी किस्म की मीटिंग बड़ी, मैं कविता जी को सलाह देना चाहूंगी मेरी तरफ से कि आपको यहाँ पे बाहर भी प्रेशर इसके अंदर डेवलप करना चाहिए। अंदर प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल रखेंगे तो सरकार को उसके अंदर हाँ ना का जवाब देना पड़ेगा। ना का जवाब चुनाव की साल में कोई पार्टी नहीं दे सकती है, चाहे उसके पास कितना भी बहुमत हो। तो हमारा पूरा सपोर्ट है। और ऊपर से 2 ही जेंडर, 2 ही पार्टी बन के आई है, एक मर्द की एक औरत की, और हम 50% है। इसलिए आपने ये बहुत सही मौके पे कविता जी ने ये मुद्दा रखा है और हम सब लोग हाथ से हाथ मिला के एक दूसरे को मजबूत करेंगे और सरकार को विवश करेंगे कि वो इस बिल को पास करे। जय हिंद।
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to invite Mr.
Manoj
Jha, sir. Please
MP
come on to the
Rajya Sabha,
stage.
please.
And Ms. Mahua Maji from JMM, Member of Parliament. Ma'am, please come on stage. Ma'am, the docket that we are giving to the MPs today has a draft private members bill, and it has a lot of questions. Vishnu, one more docket to Manoj Jha sir ke liye ek aur docket. Madam ke liye ek aur docket de dena. So that also has a draft private member bill. It has many questions on women reservation bill that can be posed.